Hello and welcome to Stay Humanist, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics. Excuse me. I'm your host, Matt Clark. I'm here without my wonderful, beautiful co-host tonight, Christy Santiago. She is still out on leave. I'm going to pull up the side chat real quick. Hello, peoples. Smitty's not here yet. What the hell is going on? He usually beats us. All right. Tonight's show. We have a nice little short show for you. Just want to update you guys on what's going on in our neck of the woods, in a matter of speaking. In particularly, literally here in the U.S., and also just in the U.S.'s backyard. Oh, no. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sorry, technical difficulties. Excuse me. Um, so let's start in Venezuela. If you guys live under a rock, you may not know that there's been some boats under fire from the Trump administration. So far, 83 people have been killed, and 21 known military strikes. And they have all allegedly been drug smuggling boats. But there has been so far no evidence that any of these boats, any of the 21 military struck boats, have actually been drug smuggling vessels. This is important because usually we have the Coast Guard take care of this kind of thing. It's their job to spot drug smuggling boats coming in, not off the coast of Venezuela, but like into our country. So I'm not sure if any of you here are watching that are. Sorry, I still have a little leftover cold. If you're of the belief that you're anti-war and you're very America first, then you should probably be guarding your borders and maybe working with immigration to get out people who are here illegally or people who are here on visas who commit crimes, something like that, right? You can have a hard line position on the border and immigration, and also drugs coming into the country, and still see that bombing boats way off of our coastline is still bad. Not just bad, but unnecessary, right? We're being the aggressors here. So if you are of that mindset that you're America first, you don't want drugs or illegals coming into the country, you don't go to someone else's country and start bombing their boats. That doesn't that doesn't really sit well, because one, it's just murder if you're not at war with that country. And if you are at war with that country and you're bombing boats that you have not completely confirmed that are enemy combatants, not just drug smugglers, but enemy combatants, then it's a war crime because you're bombing civilians. Excuse me. So this is wrong on multiple levels, right? Layers and layers of illegal, immoral, and against American interests, because when you take the offense on a country that hasn't even attacked you, and selling substances across the border that can be abused doesn't constitute violence, just to be clear, then you have a problem of you're the aggressor. We're the aggressor, right now, which means, and since this is politically motivated, it is literally terrorism, definitionally. We are terrorizing, best case scenario, we're terrorizing their drug smugglers in their own waters. Excuse me. And worst case scenario, we're bombing their fishermen out in international waters. That's still problematic, to say the least. So this started back in the beginning of September. Even Colombian President Gustavo Petro has cited a case in public statements denouncing the bombings as extrajudicial killings. Actually, I think all of the bombings, but in specific, excuse me for all of my coughs, there's one that involves a Colombian family that is, I think, suing the U.S. Let me scroll on down here. CNN has a family of a Colombian man believing. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, Nacha. Can I screen share? Let me see if I can do that. Pop that over here. You don't need to see my deal on DQ. All right, I'm going to present, share screen. There we go. All right. If that looks wrong, Mr. Nacha, let me know. And also, hello, Mr. Shadow Kitty. All right, back to it. Over here on CNN. And I'm skipping forward so I can see too. It doesn't look like I'm sharing the screen to me. So if you guys, okay, that doesn't work for the audience. They don't see any screen sharing. Oh, okay. I'm being told I'm doing that for nothing. So sorry about that. I'll stop and I'll just read it. All right. This is over on CNN. The family of a Colombian man believed to have been killed in a U.S. airstrike in the Caribbean has filed what's believed to be the first complaint against such attacks in the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, the IACHR. The petition filed Tuesday by the human rights attorney Dan Kovalik. Excuse me, this cough is terrible. Alleges that the Colombian fisherman Alejandro Carranza was killed when the U.S. struck his boat off the coast of Colombia on September 15th. It claims that the U.S. carried out an extrajudicial killing in violation of Carranza's human rights. Kovalik, the attorney, told CNN that they are seeking compensation for his family and an end to such killings, but did not elaborate on how those demands would be met. One more point here. These killings are against international law. They are against U.S. law. We want this to stop. And we think this is at least a first step to having that happen, said by Dan Kovalik, the human rights attorney. Excuse me. I don't think this is the only thing that has been filed, maybe just this way, because there was a excuse me, there was a woman who also brought up some grievances. Let me see if I have it here. Okay. No, I'm thinking of the same one. So yeah, the wife of this man. Yeah, she filed a formal complaint with the Human Rights American or the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights against Trump and Hegseth specifically. So I'm seeing here. So I'm hoping that with this, we'll at least get more eyes on it, because it doesn't matter what they do legally to the Trump administration. They're not gonna do shit about it. They don't care. Let me look down here to make that work. You would need to send me a link before the show so I can share it. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Excuse me. Reading not just chats on the side. Who do we got here? We got Smitty. You are here. Awesome. That great hat. Thank you. I have another one too. He has to wear that hat on account of being named Mac. That makes sense. That makes sense. Isn't a Mac a raincoat? You know what? I don't know. Is there a raincoat called a Mac? I know about Mac the knife, Frank Sinatra. All right. Enough in the side chat. Thank you guys for being here. So, fishing boats. Don't fish around the Caribbean. It's kind of dangerous right now. Sorry to say. We do not want drugs in the Caribbean here in the U.S. We also don't want them in the U.S. Unless you are a dictator of a specific country who likes to sell drugs, be engaged in drug games. Hold on. Give me just a second. There it is. An Axios scoop. The letter behind Trump's pardon of Honduras's ex-president for drug trafficking. We're very against drugs in this country. From a U.S. prison cell, Honduras, CIS, I want to say CIS, it sounds wrong either way. Ex-president secured a likely pardon for drug trafficking thanks to a letter he penned praising President Trump, whom he called Your Excellency, and a persistent lobbying campaign by a longtime Trump pal, you'll never guess, Roger Stone. Yeah. That's hilarious. They don't have a lot here, but here's what I'm looking for. The looming pardon for a convicted drug trafficking former Latin American president complicates Trump's messaging about confronting Venezuela's dictator, Nicolas Maduro, who was indicted for drug trafficking in 2020. Excuse me. So, yeah, oopsie daisies. Confused messaging coming out from the White House and the Secretary of War Crimes, Pete Hegseth, or Pete Kegsbreath, I'm hearing, is a new former title that he's taken. Fantastic. I love that nickname. What else do we have here? Looking up. I know about Mac computers. Oregon Trails. Oh, God damn it. Smitty wants drugs in the U.S. Smitty says, I don't want drug cartels, but they're funded entirely by the drug war, so we can just end that by legalizing all the drugs. Okay, Smitty, here's the problem with what you just said. I'm sorry to tell you this. Listen closely. But we want to bomb fishermen. Nowhere in your plan does it have where we can legally, illegally bomb fishing boats in the Caribbean. You're missing something here, bud. This is America. Where's my cup? Shit, where's my cup? Oh, I got it. America! Yeah! I don't need to bleep that out. Fuck yeah! Sorry, I live with 7 children. You're endlessly. Excuse me. Yeah, so this whole rigmarole with drugs and the Trump administration and war is getting annoying. It's getting annoying. It's horrendous. It's bad. But like this one, I have a hard time feeling sad about how messed up this is because it's so dumb. We're bombing fishing boats. And even if we're not bombing fishing boats, they're blowing up the evidence that would give them at least the evidence they think they need to kill people, right? If they would just like take a drone and like give them the whole 9 yards somehow from a drone, kill everyone on the boats, raid it, find the drugs, or plant them, they could sell it to their right-wing base enough to justify it in their public sphere. But instead, they have to blow up the whole boat and say, trust us, there were drugs on it. Trust us, any survivors that were there, Pete Hegseth said to kill. I mean, Pete Hegseth didn't say that. The general said to kill them all. And Pete Hegseth just is really cool with that guy saying that to finish whatever job he felt like he had to do. To follow Pete Hegseth's orders. It's just annoying because it's so dumb. It's almost cartoonish. It's not surprising. Not in this administration, but yeah, it's fun. It's great. I don't know how much those strikes cost. How much has bombing fishing boats in the Caribbean cost? Let's see if we get a good answer on this. All right, so there's an AI overview. Oh shit. Things are popping up. Let's check this out. This is fun. I'm just asking questions. All right, it's difficult to determine the precise total cost of U.S. military strikes on alleged drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean, as the Pentagon has not provided an overall dollar amount. However, reports indicate that the cost for each strike typically runs into the hundreds of thousands of dollars due to operational expenses and munitions costs. Operational costs. Since September 2025, the U.S. has conducted more than 20 lethal strikes, now 21, on vessels in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, with at least 11 of those in the Caribbean Sea. Each of these operations involves significant cost. Okay, yeah, we get that. Per strike, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right, we already said that. Okay, so it's just going through more how they don't quite know. But hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's interesting. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, let's do a little math here. Friends, don't mind my cough. We're going to lowball it. It says hundreds of thousands of dollars. Each one, and that's a multiple. So we're going to go $200,000 times how many? 21. Let's do 21. That is $4,200,000. Lowballing it so far. What would it cost to end homeless? You guys know where this is going? Homelessness in the United States. Estimates for the cost to end homelessness in the U.S. vary, but figures often cited include a one-time cost of about $20 billion or a recurring annual cost of $11 billion to $30 billion. So there's a couple of different ones here, and that's in the billions. So not a great example, but we are wasting money murdering innocent people, 83 innocent people, potentially, or at least innocent enough to not be blown to smithereens, because that's not the price tag on drug smuggling. So we'll spend $4.2 million on blowing smallish brown people up in the Caribbean. But we won't pay a fraction of our military budget to end homelessness, which helps our military because a large portion of our homeless population in this country is what? Veterans. I think we could be spending our money better. Wish I would have come up off the bat with a better price analysis. $4 million is small beans for our U.S. military, but it's still annoying. What else have we got? Hey, I'm sure there's white people mixed in. Latin America is ethnically diverse. Oh, I'm sorry. I live in a mostly should be all white country. I forgot there's diversity in other countries. Sorry, Smitty, you're right. There could be. I feel like if there were any white people in those, they would have went to the next one, though. Just saying. It's a pretty totally not racist administration we have over here. Yeah. Smitty made a good point of you're not thinking that through, Mac. Without homelessness, how will you terrify workers into accepting wage slavery? Oh, I forgot. My bad. So he says checks for some price. Oh, hold on. Here we go. All right. Nacho gave me some numbers here. For a single JAGM Air to ground missile is over 300,000. A Hellfire missile previously used costs 150,000, and for a single missile, Oh, for a single missile, not including the price of deployment. Yeah, because we got to factor that in too. It's just expensive. Just to, blow people up who don't deserve to be blown up. It's just so fucking crazy. Yeah. Goddamn name change. Didn't see we're like, yeah, man, Brantley, where you been? Keep up with the times, man. Say humanist, for God's sake. No, we're not. We're not done. Gotcha. Sorry, I was just making the point to Brantley that that's our name. Let's see. We're going. What it costs? Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, we were going to go to this country, closer to home. We have things to talk about. Did I take any notes that I can pull up here, though? No, just where the president's making himself richer. Thanksgiving costs. So, you guys live under a rock? Why do I keep saying that? I say always under a rock. You guys live under a train car? Off the tracks? I don't know. We'll stick with rock. That sounds better. You might not know that the average cost for a Thanksgiving dinner for 10 people was approximately $55.18 in 2025, a decrease from 2024. While the cost of staples like turkey and rolls went down, fresh vegetables and dairy products saw price increases. Some store brand Thanksgiving meals were even cheaper, like Walmart's, with options like Walmart's serving 10 for $40, while name brand meals cost around $95. So $55.18 is a decrease from 2024. But if you use the name brand, that shoots it up. With the breakdown here, variations in cost. A meal made with store brand ingredients cost an estimated $80 for 10 people. While a meal with name brand ingredients was $95. So that's a $15 difference, which is really interesting because it says the average cost was $55.18. So I don't know why. Not sure what they're using to make their average. That's strange. Some retailers offered their own full meal baskets for less. For example, Walmart's meal basket for 10 people was available under $40. So if a lot of people shopped at Walmart to get those full baskets, then that would cost that would bring the average down. But it also had mostly their brand, so they could afford to do that. I do work at a grocery store. I do see the differences in prices, name brand, and then the store brand costs, not just on the shelf, but when you look at how much it costs the store to buy their own store brand thing to pack the shelves and the name brand to pack the shelf. It's mind-boggling. Like that's how they make their money. So excuse me. So if you want to support your your local grocery store, excuse me, you should buy their brand. But most local grocery stores don't exist anymore, or they don't have their own brand because mostly those are the bigger companies now. It's different than it was in the last couple decades, but how it goes. That's capitalism. So, okay, enough there. Um, we know that our health insurance premiums are going up, and it's just too insane. Like they could double, triple, quadruple. I got really lucky so far. I think my premiums have only gone up 6%, but um, they're selling that as a really good thing that they're only going up 6%. Um, excuse me. Which would usually not be good. 6% for paying for health insurance here in this country is um, hundreds of dollars a year. It's fun. Nacha says, remind me again, what is the legal procedure for drug runners in America? What is the punishment deemed to be? Does it incur the death penalty without due process? Even or not even freaking Bali is that bad? No, it's not. It's definitely not. I think it's just prison time. I think there's probably a mandatory minimum with that, and it depends because they always play with like plea deals and such. So I don't know what it actually calls for, but oftentimes some charges are dropped if you'll play ball. There was another cost that I wanted to talk about today, and I'm forgetting what it was. Oh, I remember. I wanted to talk to you guys about this. US. But I don't want to say it all this time. Okay, this is nuts. I'm so excited to share this one with you because I think it's interesting. Not because it's good. This is bad news. Kind of like John Oliver's show. We only focus on the bad news here. Black Friday spending raises eyebrows over the U.S. economy. This is in Newsweek. Data for Thanksgiving weekend shows consumers shopped at encouraging levels, but underlying details about spending patterns suggest this may not have been an economic boon the administration believes. According to Adobe Analytics, the U.S. consumers spent $6.4 billion on Thanksgiving Day and $11.8 billion online on Black Friday, with record highs and up significantly compared to last year. But Salesforce data cited by Forbes found that order volume fell by about 1% year over year, while average selling prices were up 7%, indicating that much of the growth was caused by inflation rather than any uptick in shopping enthusiasm. Why it matters! Thanks, Newsweek. Why does it matter? Consumer spending accounts for 2/3 of economic activity, and the holiday season has been considered a particularly important barometer of how financially stressed shoppers are navigating the current economic climate. The White House has already pointed to Black Friday sales figures as demonstrating that the American consumer is in good health in late 2025, but others see signs that weak consumer confidence and a collection of financial headwinds are taking their toll despite an overall jump in spending. Excuse me. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Okay, this is just talking about the inflation. All right, so down here, the U.S. inflation rate is nowhere near 9%. It's closer to 3%. Kodali told Newsweek there's definitely a lift in spend, and 9% exceeds Adobe's own estimates. I don't think people are looking for deals, which is why the numbers during the holiday sales date would be particularly high, she added. I definitely skipped something for Kodali, but that's okay. So we're going to look down here. November spending has risen 7.1% year over year for Adobe's study, with sales up across three leading product categories: electronics, apparel, furniture, and home goods. Separate analysis by MasterCard found that Black Friday sales, both in-store and online, were together up 4% compared to 2024. So, Friday, that's the spending. Oh, well, I didn't have the part that I wanted to share with you guys. So most of this that was spent was put on the credit cards. And I do think, I don't want to do that. Don't make me sign into it. Damn you. City. I don't want City. New York Times is behind a paywall. Dang it. I keep clicking on things that want me to log in. I don't like that. Anywho, the main gist is, even though it's shit over here, economically speaking, people still feel absolutely terrible if they don't buy presents for Christmas. And this is part of what's like late stage capitalism. This is a really big problem because we need to spend for happiness. And I get it. It's a cultural thing. It's a cultural norm to give people presents on the holidays, even if you can't afford it. And we have programs, and we have like Toys for Tots and things like that where people can help, so everyone does get a present. It's not just we're trying to help everyone get by. We want to make sure that every kid has a gift, which is sweet. But it's a little illogical when we have so many hardships going on right now that we're focused on presents more than getting out of debt. Every person, we don't have enough to save for retirement. You know what? Like, let me look at that. I'm curious. I'll give you the question here. What percentage of Americans can't save for retirement? That's what I was guessing, about 50%. All right, it says approximately 54 to 60% of Americans have a retirement, excuse me, savings account. Though this percentage varies by the survey and its scope. For example, in June 2025, Gallup poll found that 59% of Americans have a plan, while a Congressional Research Service analysis of 2022 found that 54.3% of U.S. households had retirement accounts or account assets. Ownership is strongly correlated with income and education level. Other factors, 83% of adults in households with an annual income of $100,000 or of at least $100,000 have a retirement plan, compared to 28% of those in households earning less than $50,000. College graduates have an 81% rate of participation versus 39% without a college degree. So, as I said, education and income is a huge factor. So we can't save for retirement if you're a millennial, especially, who didn't go to a 4-year college, but we'll throw ourselves into credit card debt for Christmas. I don't think it's by design of the system that it's like this. I think it's a feature. You know what I mean? And it's a little bit sick. And we shouldn't even have this problem. We should have enough money to spend on things that make us happy, that are silly, like material items, and still pay our rent and bills and save for retirement. But we don't. We have this problem because we don't have a system that is fair for everyone. We have a system that is fair for those who are rich enough to make their money earn money. Excuse me. So I wanted to just bring all that to you and my thoughts because I am having a hard time looking at, of course, Gaza, but now also Venezuela, what we're doing there and how we're trying to push Maduro out of the country with his family, just giving him like the threat of like, hey, we're going to come in and invade. And if you and your family don't just run now, then we're going to come and kill you all. Right now, Maduro's trying to fight it, but we shouldn't even be fucking doing this. We should be focused on our own fucking country, trying to better the lives of Americans. But we can't, because we need to put our sticky little fucking fingers in other people's countries and fuck with them. But it's fine. Once we put our sticky fingers down in Venezuela, we'll pull out some oil while we're down there, and we also get to fire some more rockets, which we'll have to buy more from the war machine. It's just annoying as fuck. Our priorities are completely fucked, and our economy is too. All right, what do we see here? What are you guys talking about in the side chat? Talking about Nintendo 64s and Dreamcasts. I have both of those. Does that make me part of the Cool Kids Club? That said, I did buy a video game on Black Friday. Not that I have a lot of time to play it, but I did play some of it. Spider-Man 2, just so you know, and it's awesome. I wanted to buy that game the day it came out, and I wanted to take vacation time at work to sit and play it, but I never got time. But it was on a really good sale. It was like 60% off or something like that. So I bit the bullet and I bought it. Chet, how's it going? Good to see you. We got Jen, we've got Chet, we got Smitty, we got Brantley. Yeah. Enter Electro for PS1. I got on PS5. I don't think I understand what you're saying. Anywho, that's that. That's what I got. my voice can't take much more, so I'm probably going to wrap it up for the night. Thank you guys so much for joining us and listening to me cough into the microphone, but not directly into it because I'm polite like that. I have manners. Yeah, I hope you guys had a nice Thanksgiving. I hope if you guys got in any fights, you won. Just a warm up for Christmas, right? Make sure that if you are planning on some verbal warfare over the holidays, that you bring the facts. And the facts are our president is a war criminal. It's very easy to explain why. I hope some of the information shared tonight helps you do that. And what could we be doing instead? Mr. Shadow Kitty, welcome. What could we be doing instead? We could be trying to solve homelessness, or even just helping our veterans, right? That would be a fraction of that cost. We could be trying to get through some single-payer health care. We could be strengthening our border patrol at the actual border, not in the middle of our country, and not going across the border to other countries, like invading Mexico on accident on the beach, if it was really on accident. Who fucking knows? Paying for healthcare, number one thing. Yes, Chad. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I should see you guys in the next week or two, and then we'll probably wrap it up for the year. We'll come back in January, but we love you guys. Thanks so much for being here, and stay humanist, for God's sake.